game. Got a story here out of North Houston, Lone Star College, indicating that a shooting has taken place at another campus. Two have been shot at this campus, Lone Star College in North Houston. So once again, you got another shooting. I don't know if it's a gun-free zone or not. Maybe it's in Texas, so maybe it's not. Two victims have suffered multiple gunshot wounds, were conscious when they arrived at Ben Taub Hospital, have been taken into surgery in what's being called a relatively serious condition. Students have told Eyewitness News one student and one staff member were injured. Information not been confirmed by officials. At least two students told Eyewitness News they heard 5 shots. One girl said it sounded as they occurred outside in an area between the library and the cafeteria. Let me see if there's anything else off of this early report that's worth passing on to you. So again, we don't know if that's a gun-free zone or not, and there's some indication may have been a continuation of an earlier argument, so we will stay in touch with that developing thing. Now let's play a few more sound bites. Number is 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. And Joe in Oklahoma City, if you can hang on just for a couple minutes, we'll get to you just as quickly as we can. You know, this inauguration yesterday was kind of a crack up to me. It was like being in high school and watching all these media types just salivate, their tongues hanging out, following President Obama around. Here is NBC's Al Roker. He's the weather guy on NBC Today, and you know, this is kind of a look at me moment. Here's Al Roker as the Obama parade passes by.
A choice between those who built America and those who are going to build America. I mean, that was very, in other words, those who are on Medicare and those and our children. In other words, we should be lifting both of those groups up.
We're just going to go to our correspondent Al Roker, who I believe is...
All right. Which bring in all kinds of people. So I think you got opportunities for him to bring up topics that are winners for him to be blunt about it. But he also has, I think, a deep-seated opposition to war, which I think is so refreshing from the previous administration, the one that he succeeded. And I think that's
the Vice President is just shaking hands with Al Roker of the Today Show.
Oh, man. So there's Al Roker yelling, Mr. President, look at me, Mr. Vice President, look at me, wave at me, come over and shake my hand. And then he was as giddy as a girl getting dressed for prom. That's Al Roker. Here is a CNN correspondent, Jim Acosta, and he is positively giddy at his very proximity with the one. Let's listen.
And obviously this is the moment that everybody is waiting for on Inauguration Day, when the President and the First Lady step out of their limo and walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. You know, I feel like I should pinch myself right now, Wolf. I can't believe I have this vantage point of history in the making.
So you're literally, what, about 15, 20 feet away from the President?
I'm probably a good, I would say, 50 feet away from the President right now, Wolf. But very, very close.
So that's Jim Acosta. I feel like I should pinch myself right now. I'm just 50 feet away from the President, giddy with excitement. Now, remember Chris Matthews had the big leg up, the thrill up his leg moment back at after an Obama primary speech in 2008. So here is Martin Bashir bringing that up, and Matthews' mic actually goes silent. He got a little bit offended, I think, at being reminded of his girlish excitement back in 2008. This is Martin Bashir talking to Chris Matthews.
As I sat there as the son of 2 former sharecroppers who plowed the land where their foreparents had been slaves, and now to sit in the Congress of the United States of America, I could relate to that. And I hope, and I think what the President is saying is that and he even mentioned the little girl who might be going through some difficulty, may not have much money.
Growing up in deep poverty.
That's right, but to know that she has a chance to be somebody. I could really relate to it. As a matter of fact, it gave me chills, man. I don't usually get chills.
There you go, Chris. Did you get any chills, Chris?
Chris? Chris, did you get any chills, Chris? Nothing coming from Chris Matthews. So that is that's the Milli Vanilli inauguration. Beyonce faking the whole thing. The Marine Band faking the whole thing. All recorded. Now, they recorded it, so it's their own stuff, but they played it instead of playing it, instead of singing. It's the Milli Vanilli inauguration accompanied by giddy schoolgirls who cannot have a huge man crush on Barack Obama. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Joe in Oklahoma City. Joe, thanks for calling and thanks for waiting. What's on your mind?
Hey, there's some torture in this world, ain't there? I'm telling you, that's funny. Anyway, that's hard to get over. That's so funny. What I was calling about was, you notice how you got the, he's not the most powerful man in the world to me, but, you know, the President of our United States, what they're doing is every time they speak, they're trying to push the Christian down further and further. And you ever notice when he speaks, he kind of talks about the Christian, basically. You don't say Christian in hand, but, you know, we need tolerance, you know. You know, who's more tolerant than the Christian, you know? And he talks about gun control. You know what? I'll tell you, who's more protective of their children than a Christian? You know, and I'll tell you what he's trying to do is push the Christian down further and further. And because, you know what, all he is a hand of the devil. That's how the devil works, is people like him, they open their mouth and force Satan because they have not the truth in them. And what's happening, you know, this is my opinion. Well, of course, my opinion is spirit-led anyway. But what's happening is you gotta suppress the Spirit of God somehow, and how better to do it in the carnal minds of the people than the President of the United States to be the voice of Satan to hinder the people who care the most. You understand what I mean?
I do, and I appreciate your call. Joe, thank you for calling and weighing in on that. And, you know, speaking of the president demonizing Christians, well, this is not the president, but again, it's West Point. They've got a combating terrorism center at West Point. And why don't we grab, Amy, if we can grab clip number 10, the Democratic representative. Maybe we got time to play that actually before I go to the content. So let me know when we got clip 10. Okay, this is a Democratic representative, Congressional Black Caucus Chair Marcia Fudge. So this is a lawmaker. This is a member of a lawmaker, a sitting member of Congress. And listen, you think that what Joe said is exaggeration about how the left thinks of Christians or conservatives. Here is a representative, a lawmaker, member of Congress, and what she thinks about Republicans.
These same people believe that if you don't work, you are lazy. These same people believe that if your children don't get a good education, that something is wrong with you. These are the craziest people I have ever seen in my life. Just absolute nuts. So if we continue to send people to Congress who don't even understand what their job is, who don't understand that government's job is to take care of its people, then we are never going anywhere as a country, because we deal with nuts every single day. These people are evil and mean. They care nothing about anybody.
Care nothing about anybody but themselves. They're evil. They are mean. Talking about you and me, ladies and gentlemen. They're nuts. They're evil. They're mean. They care about nobody but themselves. Focal Point, AFR Talk. Back with more. Stay with us.